Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. The 2026 Italian Open is officially over, and what a breathtaking tournament it turned out to be. Rome delivered pure chaos, unforgettable drama, shocking upsets, emotional comebacks, and one of the most incredible championship runs we have seen all season long. The clay courts of the Foro Italico once again became the center of the tennis universe as the biggest stars in women's tennis battled for glory under the bright Roman lights. And in the end, one warrior stood above everyone else. Elina Svitolina is the 2026 Italian Open champion. The Ukrainian star produced a sensational tournament run and defeated Coco Gauff in an intense three-set final to capture her third Rome title. It was a performance filled with resilience, experience, tactical brilliance, and unbelievable mental toughness. Svitolina did not just win the trophy. She defeated some of the biggest names in the sport back-to-back, taking down Elena Rybakina, Iga Świątek, and Coco Gauff in consecutive matches to complete one of the most legendary runs of her career. The tournament completely reshaped the WTA rankings heading into Roland Garros, and now the updated top 30 has officially arrived. At number 30 is Lee with 1,460 points. The American drops slightly after another difficult clay court stretch. Rome ended early for her in the round of 64, and she continues searching for consistency during this demanding part of the season. At number 29 is Jelena Ostapenko with 1,464 points. The Latvian climbs 7 places after reaching the quarterfinals in Rome. Her aggressive shot-making once again proved dangerous on clay, and she continues building momentum at the perfect time before Paris. At number 28 is Anastasia Potapova with 1,470 points. The Austrian-born star jumps 10 spots after an impressive Italian Open campaign that saw her reach the round of 16. Her improvement throughout the clay season has been impossible to ignore. At number 27 is Marie Buzkova with 1,596 points. The Czech player slips slightly after another early exit during the clay swing and will hope for stronger results moving forward. At number 26 is Haley Baptiste with 1,712 points. Even though she dropped one spot, the American continues enjoying the best season of her career and remains one of the rising names to watch closely. At number 25 is Diana Schneider with 1,796 points. The Russian falls 5 places after losing important points in Rome. Expectations remain high for the talented young star, but consistency is becoming increasingly important. At number 24 is Leylah Fernandez with 1,796 points. The Canadian also drops slightly after struggling to make a deep run in Rome or Strasbourg. She continues fighting to regain momentum on clay. At number 23 is Elise Mertens with 1,858 points. The Belgian remains steady inside the top 25 despite another modest tournament result. At number 22 is Anna Kalinskaya with 1,868 points. The Russian rises 2 places after reaching the round of 16 in Rome and showing signs of improved form during this clay season. At number 21 is Sorana Cîrstea with 1,887 points. One of the biggest stories of the Italian Open. The Romanian veteran surged 6 places after her emotional semi-final run in Rome. At 36 years old, Cîrstea reminded the tennis world that experience, heart, and resilience can still compete with the younger generation. Now we enter the top 20. At number 20 is Clara Tauson with 1,920 points. The Dane slips slightly after failing to make a deep breakthrough in Rome, but her consistency still keeps her inside the top 20. At number 19 is Madison Keys with 1,946 points. The American remains stable after another difficult clay court stretch. She will now turn her attention toward Roland Garros, hoping to rediscover her best tennis. At number 18 is Ludmila Samsonova with 1,950 points. The Russian climbs 3 places despite an earlier exit in Rome and continues staying competitive inside a crowded middle section of the rankings. At number 17 is teenage sensation Iva Jovic with 2,306 points. The young American continues climbing steadily and remains one of the brightest young talents on the WTA Tour. Her fearless performances continue earning attention across the tennis world. At number 16 is Naomi Osaka with 2,341 points. The former world number one reached the round of 16 in Rome before exiting, but her steady return toward elite-level tennis continues, encouraging fans worldwide. At number 15 is Marta Kostyuk with 2,388 points. The Ukrainian star continues building momentum after an excellent clay season and remains one of the most dangerous unseeded threats heading into Paris. At number 14 is Ekaterina Alexandrova with 2,581 points. The Russian loses ground after another disappointing tournament result and continues struggling to maintain consistency against elite opponents. At number 13 is Jasmine Paolini with 2,787 points. The Italian suffered one of the biggest ranking drops after failing to defend her massive Rome points from last season. The home crowd hoped for another magical run, but this year the dream ended much earlier. At number 12 is Linda Noskova with 3,054 points. The young Czech keeps rising steadily and continues proving herself as one of the future stars of women's tennis. At number 11 is Belinda Bencic with 3,145 points. The Swiss star edges closer to the top 10 again after another solid season filled with consistency and resilience. Breaking into the top 10 at number 10 is Karolina Muchova with 3,328 points. The Czech remains one of the most dangerous players on tour whenever she stays healthy, blending creativity, touch, and intelligence beautifully on clay. At number 9 is Victoria Mboko with 3,405 points. The teenage Canadian continues her remarkable rise despite an earlier exit in recent tournaments. She remains one of the fastest rising young stars in the sport. At number 8 is Mira Andreeva with 4,181 points. The Russian teenager reached the quarterfinals in Rome and continues confirming her status as one of the brightest talents in women's tennis. And now comes the champion. At number 7 is Elina Svitolina with 4,315 points. The Ukrainian climbs 3 spots after conquering Rome in extraordinary fashion. Svitolina's title run was absolutely breathtaking. She defeated Elena Rybakina in the quarterfinals, shocked Iga Świątek in the semifinals, and then survived Coco Gauff in the final to lift the trophy. It was a reminder that experience, toughness, and championship mentality still matter enormously at the highest level of the sport. At number 6 is Amanda Anisimova with 5,958 points. The American remains firmly positioned among the elite despite not making a major breakthrough in Rome. At number 5 is Jessica Pegula with 6,286 points. The American reached the quarterfinals in Rome before falling short against stronger opposition, but she continues maintaining her place inside the top 5 through remarkable consistency. At number 4 is Coco Gauff with 6,749 points. The American reached another Rome final and battled bravely throughout the tournament, surviving multiple 3-set marathons before eventually losing to Svitolina in the championship match. Even in defeat, Gauff once again proved she is one of the strongest clay court players in the world. At number 3 is Iga Świątek with 7,273 points. The former world number one looked much sharper in Rome and reached the semifinals, crushing several opponents along the way before her resurgence was halted by Svitolina in a dramatic semifinal clash. At number 2 is Elena Rybakina with 8,705 points. The Kazakh star continues holding strong near the top despite her quarterfinal exit in Rome. Her power and serving remain among the most dangerous weapons in women's tennis. And finally, at world number 1 is Aryna Sabalenka with 9,960 points. Even though the Belarusian suffered a shocking early exit in Rome, she still maintains a commanding lead at the top of the rankings heading into Roland Garros. But after everything we witnessed in Rome, one thing has become crystal clear. The women's game is entering a fascinating new era. The competition is fiercer than ever. Young stars continue rising rapidly. Former champions are rediscovering greatness. And with Roland Garros now approaching, the battle for dominance is only getting more intense. If Rome taught us anything, it is this: absolutely nobody is safe anymore. And right now, the entire tennis world is watching Elina Svitolina.